Hello, I'm Tim Durham with Durb's Bee Farm in Mississippi. A viewer just asked me on YouTube how to find his queen. He has a queen coming in the mail and he cannot find his queen. So maybe I can give some pointers here to help him. I'm 77, so I hope I don't ramble on too much. The day before you are looking for the queen, have 2 hive tools and go to the rear of the hive. Now this is with a 2 brood chamber box or a beehive that's got more than 1 box. Go to the rear of the hive with 2 hive tools, 1 hive tool in each rear corner, and separate the boxes just slightly. Crack them just slightly. What this will do is all the burr comb that connects the 2 boxes will have honey in it, and this will cause the bees to clean up all that loose honey by the next day. If you don't, you will have, when you take off that top box, you'll have honey dripping everywhere. You don't want that. When you rob your supers, the same identical process. Crack them the day before, then next day you will not have a lot of honey dripping. Alright, the next day, you take the lid off, smoke them with real thick smoke. The top of the hive, before you do anything, smoke the top of the hive with good thick smoke. The objective in smoking the top of the hive thickly with smoke will drive the queen down into the bottom brood chamber. And that's your objective, to drive her down into the bottom brood chamber. Wait a bit. 30 seconds, 40 seconds, something like that. Maybe a minute. After you've smoked them and waited a little bit, remove the top box. Put you a queen excluder back in its place. Now, set the top box back on top of the queen excluder. Now, it would maybe be good, if you can, to wait a few hours, 2 or 3 hours, let them settle down. An hour, whatever, let them settle down. You go back, now you smoke them with real thick smoke. Now when I say, you know what I mean by thick smoke, not hot, thin smoke, but real thick smoke. I use pine needles. That's another subject. Cardboard will burn your eyes. You go back and smoke the entrance with real thick smoke. Give them, again, 30, 40 seconds, maybe a minute. Now, after you give them a little time, what I'm going to tell you next is you want to kind of do it quickly. Take off the top box again and immediately remove the queen excluder. If you do not be surprised if you see the queen on the bottom of the queen excluder. It's very possible. In that case, man, you turned out lucky, and you'll be so happy. she's trying to get away from the smoke. Now, maybe wait a good minute before you take the top box off. But you take the top box off, you take the queen excluder off quickly, and look on the underside of the queen excluder for the queen. She very likely may be crawling around on the bottom of the queen excluder trying to get away from the smoke. But let's say that you cannot find her on the bottom of the queen excluder. Now, a big majority of the bees, a lot of them, are up in the top box because you smoked them from the entrance. So she's not on the bottom of the queen excluder. So now, if you can, get beside the hive with the sun behind your back, and reach across the hive to the furthest frame against the wall. Take it out. Very likely she will not be on the outside frames. Most likely she will not be out there. But you need to look it over. Take out about 3 frames and look each one over good. Now, when you lay those 2 or 3 frames on the outside, cover them up with a sheet, some cloth, because there's no honey flow on right now, and honeybees in the neighborhood will start robbing it very quickly. You do not want that started. That's very important. Okay, you've taken 2 or 3 frames out, and you've covered them up with some cloth. Now, start with the next frame. You're reaching across now. You're getting the frame the furthest from you. There's a reason for that. When you remove a frame, if she is on the next frame, she will likely run around on the side of the frame that's not exposed to daylight. So when you pull the next frame up, if she's on that frame, most likely she will be on the frame that is closest to you, because she run around to get away from the light. Now, most likely you are going to see her where there's the heaviest concentration of bees, which usually is kind of in the center of the hive, the center area of the hive. So just keep doing this process until you find her. Now, in my opinion, there are 3 kinds of queens. So I just made this up. There's a runner, there's a hider, and there's a layer. The running queen, I mean, she'll run around on the other side of the frame in a heartbeat. And if you're holding that frame up and you see that queen on that frame, and you can practice this, and turn your head away from her, and then a few seconds, you look back, you won't be able to find her. She will have run around on the back side of that frame. That's what I call a runner. A hider. That's what I call a hider. She can hide around on the other side of that frame. Now the runner queen, she's more difficult to find. She will get on the bottom board of the hive, and she will run back and forth. If you're working on one side of the hive, she'll run over here to get away from you. When you work yourself over to this side of the hive, then she'll run back over there on the bottom board. So as you take these frames out, you need to also be observing the bottom board. And don't be surprised if you see her scattywampusing back to the other side. That's why it's good to originally take 3, maybe 4 frames out. So you can also observe the bottom board. Now let's say that you work your way, you started on the far side of the hive and you worked your way toward the side of the hive that's closest to you and you haven't found her. It may be good to get a cloth and cover them up, and you've already got the ones that you put outside, you've got them covered up. Cover them up and let them settle down. Now, let's say that there's 7 frames in the hive. Now, it wouldn't hurt you to, those 4 frames you have sitting on the outside, quickly look them over to be sure you didn't miss her on those 4 frames. Alright, let's say you've waited 30 minutes, an hour for them to settle down. You take the cloth off, and now those 7 frames are closest to you. If you can, push all 7 frames away from you and look down on the bottom board. You see, if you see her, she'll probably be, if she's on the bottom board, she'll be toward the rear of the bottom board, and she'll probably be in the corner. So look down there. Okay, you don't see her. Now you can start the process of going back and looking at each frame one by one. I don't know how to say this, but try not to look at each specific bee. Let your eyes find her. I don't know if this is accurate or not, but I think that instead of looking at every single bee, and there's thousands in there, so that doesn't do you much good. Just your eyes will pick out the bee that's the largest, and of course your eyes will pick out drones, but maybe they're kicking the drones out by now. So I hope this has helped you. Now, 7 years ago, I made a video on this very subject, and I was going through the hive as I was telling. So 7 years ago, I've got a lot of videos, and you can find it. How to find the queen, comma, the honeybee queen. And I made that 7 years ago, so if you can find that, that will also help you. This is the time of the year to put your entrance reducers not in, but on. This is not very important, but you will sure like it. For decades, and I think they still do, if you buy a beehive from a bee supply company, they furnish you an entrance reducer that is square with the instructions to push it in the entrance. Don't do that. If you have a saw, a table saw, radial saw, radial arm saw, make you an entrance reducer and you tack it on the front of the entrance. You do not push it in. When you push it in, next spring it will be difficult for you to get it out of there somewhat. When you tack it on the front, it's just, you can pop it off real easy. Now, last year, October 31, I made a video on this subject, and I show it to you, what it looks like, and applying that entrance reducer on the front of the hive instead of inside the entrance. I made video. Pick up your hive. Go out there and pick up your hive. Get an idea, a baseline, how heavy it is. So next spring, that's when bees, if a bee runs out of honey, that's when they're going to die, in the springtime. So get an idea how heavy your hive is. Next spring, you can go out there and pick them up, and if they still feel heavy, or if they feel very light, then you need to swing into action. So now I've done some that top plywood feeder is the only way to go. There's not many for sure things in beekeeping. There's different opinions, but this top plywood feeder, and I made videos on it, is the only way to go. It's the lower price to go, the very lowest, and the only way to go. And I'll stick behind that. I hope y'all had a good season, and if I can help you, go down below and you can leave a comment. And down underneath the video is a thumbs up, and if you liked it, click on that. And then there's a subscribe button that you can and I'll get a blue ribbon. I get a blue ribbon if you click on the thumbs up, and I get a surprise or something if you click on subscribe. It just makes me happy. But let me know where you live, county, or not county, but state, city, or one person sent a comment from Ireland. I think it was Ireland. And that's amazing, you know, that we can go around the world. So, okay, y'all be sure to get out and vote, and happy beekeeping. Bye-bye. I've got a dear friend here in this area, and he's a guitarist. And he plays, they call them gigs. He plays many, many gigs. Well, the local funeral home director called him and told him that he was burying a homeless man. And the homeless man did not have any relatives or friends. And he asked my dear friend, would he please go out there and play some songs, and so somebody will sing him goodbye. And my friend told him he would. And the funeral home director told him, said, well, it's out in the backwoods. Y'all don't know what the backwoods is. In Mississippi, we know what that means. And so my friend started heading out there, and he got lost. And he was about an hour late when he discovered the pauper graves. And the funeral people had already left, and the hearse had even gone. So he parked and went over there with his guitar, and the grave diggers were still there because they hadn't filled the hole in yet. That they was having lunch, and so he stepped up there and he told them. He said, "I told the funeral director that I would play some songs here in behalf of this soul, and I'm so sorry I'm late. And do y'all mind if I play some songs?" And of course, the grave diggers, you know, they told him, "No, we don't mind." Well, he started playing. He played one song and then another one, and then he started playing on the old rugged cross. Oh my! I don't know if y'all know that song, but the grave diggers started weeping. And my friend, as he was playing the old rugged cross, he started weeping. All of them was weeping. And finally, he finished. And he was heading back to the car. And he said his head was hanging low, but his heart was full. He felt like he had done his good deed for the day, like I feel like I'm doing mine today. And he opened the door, and he heard one of the grave diggers say, and he heard one of the grave diggers say, "You know, I have been doing this for 20 years, and this is the first time that I've seen somebody play over a septic tank." He got lost, but they all enjoyed the music, I'm sure. All right, look, if y'all have any questions, let me know. And if you go to Durham Humor, click I like and all that stuff, and down below, click I like, and